Pooh Shiesty got locked up after a shooting and was supposed to serve 5 years, but he's home early and already turning up the heat in the trenches. In October 2025, Pooh Shiesty officially walked out of federal prison after serving 3 years. When the news first broke, fans thought it was fake, but his lawyer Bradford Cohen confirmed on IG that Shiesty was really free. He was originally facing a potential life sentence if he went to trial, but he took a plea deal to get some charges dropped. Even then, the feds pushed for 10 years, but the judge gave him 5. Shiesty kept his head down, stayed out of drama, and earned an early release after just 3 years. The full details of his case haven't been made public yet, but for now, Shiesty's still at a halfway house. Not fully free just yet. He's allowed to move around during the day, but has to check back in at night. The moment he got out, he hit the jeweler and dropped $100,000 on a new chain. Even after years away, his pockets are still stacked. On his first day out, he linked with his homie Big 30, who handed him a fat bankroll to celebrate. But dropping racks wasn't the only thing on Shiesty's mind. He also tried shooting his shot at Cardi B again, sliding into her comments with, "I love you." That wasn't his first attempt either. Back in August 2024, when Cardi filed for divorce from Offset, Shiesty commented from prison, "I'm 5 minutes away, baby. Open the door." But that move's not working anymore. Cardi's now with NFL star Stefon Diggs, and they're expecting their first child together. Shiesty hasn't dropped any new music in 2 years, but fans are still waiting for him to hop back in the booth. His last track, Federal Contraband 2, was recorded from jail, where he rapped about surviving the inside. "Shit going all bad, but I'm patient, knowing something good gotta come next. Oh, silly just got killed, his killer gone to ADX. Went from Audemars to G-Shock, these the jailhouse Rolex." On that same track, Shiesty opened up about losing his cousin Big Scar, who he helped connect with Gucci Mane and signed to the 1017 label. Scar had survived a shooting in 2020, but while Shiesty was locked up, he tragically passed from an accidental overdose in December 2022. On the record, Shiesty reflected, "They locked me up for 5 winters, gotta shine to beat the summer." On bad terms with Scar before he died, couldn't even say I love him. That loss hit hard, especially since Shiesty blamed himself for not being there, saying, "If I sit back and watch drugs kill you, I failed as a brother. Sobered up, I don't think they ready for the new me, they in trouble." Big Scar's death was a huge blow, and now that Shiesty's back home, Memphis isn't the same. The streets are colder, and 2 of his closest homies are caught up in a deadly war. It turned out EBGE Jizzle only caught a bullet in the arm and wasn't paralyzed like everyone thought. But even then, it was clear that Pooh Shiesty was still tapped in with the trenches, no matter how big his music got. Shiesty had blown up and gone mainstream, but his roots ran way deeper in the streets than in the rap game. His father, known as Mob Boss, was a heavy name in Memphis and was allegedly tied to a murder back in 2004. Mob Boss had been catching cases since Shiesty was a kid and reportedly worked alongside the legendary Memphis drug lord Ronnie Woods. Woods ran the infamous Memphis Mob, a crew that practically controlled the city for decades. Before all that street heat, Mob Boss had dreams of rapping too, even dropping his own track called Mob Ties. As a kid, Pooh Shiesty would sit in the studio watching his dad record, never realizing he'd one day take it even further. In March 2019, Shiesty dropped his first track with Big 30, and from the start, every release caught fire. By 2020, he was already collaborating with major names like Gucci Mane and Lil Baby. His breakout hit, Back in Blood, with Lil Durk catapulted him into stardom. But just a month before the record dropped, Shiesty caught the case that nearly ended his career. In October 2020, he rented a McLaren from some dudes in Florida and later tried linking up again to buy drugs and sneakers. But when one of the men pulled up to make the deal, Shiesty, or one of his homies, pulled out a gun and fired a shot, turning what should have been a smooth exchange into a full-blown shooting. Shiesty left the scene before the cops pulled up, but he accidentally dropped a Louis Vuitton bag stuffed with cash, and that bag ended up being what tied him to the shooting. After getting booked, the cops released him on bond, but just a few months later, he allegedly shot a club security guard in the ankle during another wild incident. Shiesty was staring down serious charges, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and battery, but instead of risking life in prison by going to trial, he took a plea deal that got most of the charges dropped. He was originally supposed to be released in April 2026, but he caught a major break and came home early. Once the news hit, Gucci Mane jumped on IG to celebrate and shout Shiesty out. Still, it's unclear if Shiesty is officially signed to Gucci anymore. His latest single, Federal Contraband 2, is distributed under his own Chopper Gang label instead of 1017 Records. But even if their business ties changed, it doesn't look like there's any bad blood. Gucci and Shiesty still seem solid. Now, it looks like Shiesty's focused on taking over the rap game again, this time as his own boss. On Federal Contraband 2, he declared, "I'm the biggest. Ain't no CEO or OG over me. I'm CEO status." Doing 3 years behind bars slowed his rise, but it didn't kill his buzz. Shiesty still has the potential to pick up right where he left off. The key now is playing it smart and not fumbling his comeback like others before him. Bobby Shmurda came home to massive hype, but stalled out after waiting too long to drop new music. His tour even got cancelled when tickets stopped selling. Young Thug, while still one of the biggest names in rap, faced a similar setback after his RICO case, taking too long to bounce back musically. But Pooh Shiesty's story could be different. His first record went platinum, and his fan base never stopped waiting on his return. Big 30 is one of Shiesty's closest homies, and the two came up together when they founded Chopper Gang back in the day. Both were making serious noise in the rap game, and around the same time, Pooh Shiesty signed with Gucci Mane, Big 30 landed a deal with Moneybagg Yo. The trio, Shiesty, Big 30, and Moneybagg, used to hop on tracks together, running up major numbers. But while Shiesty was locked up, tension sparked between Big 30 and Moneybagg Yo, and Moneybagg even tried to drag Shiesty into their drama. Big 30 had connected with Moneybagg through his cousin Newski, who came straight out of the trenches and signed to Moneybagg's Bread Gang label. But Big 30 later claimed Moneybagg only signed him and Newski because he needed shooters around for protection. Tragically, Newski was killed in 2022. On Federal Contraband 2, Pooh Shiesty paid tribute, rapping, "Long live the members, man. We don't say rest in peace, they live through me. Lump, Rico, 23, Trey Day, Newski. I done lost real J1s playing in these yellow lines. You hear me?" Shiesty hasn't spoken publicly on the Big 30 and Moneybagg Yo beef, but Moneybagg threw shots that made it clear where he stood, even name-dropping Shiesty in a diss. "You the one that did fake shit. I stood there. Am I wrong?" He later rapped again, "I feel like Shiesty, I don't need no security in the club. Most of them doing the talking, can't break out a dub. Might drop an op and throw a party like I'm Mr. Ruggs." Big 30 and his camp were allegedly putting in work for Moneybagg before things went bad. And after Newski's murder, Big 30's homie Cheese Dalla, Chimbi Dilla, was also shot and killed just months later. Rumors say Shiesty's got some bars aimed at Moneybagg already recorded, but hopefully he keeps his head down, because one wrong move could cost him everything. Even before getting locked up, Shiesty tried staying out of Memphis drama. When he first blew up, the war between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti had the city divided, and Shiesty didn't want to pick sides. That's why he signed with Gucci Mane instead of anyone from Memphis. But despite steering clear of that beef, trouble still found him. Before prison, Shiesty had issues with another Memphis rapper, Big Boogie. Nobody knows exactly what started it, but rumors claim Chopper Gang pulled up to Boogie's show in Mississippi back in 2020, leaving 2 people dead. Around the same time, Shiesty was also beefing with the EBG crew. After his hit, Back in Blood blew up, a rapper named EBGE Jizzle dropped a diss track remixing it, rapping, "Cross my heart. That's on my soul. Lil Mr. Pooh, you was a hoe. Telling gang that 30 shot you, now you rapping? That's your bro." But just weeks after that diss, someone pulled up on Jizzle and shot him. Word spread fast that he was paralyzed from the attack, and people started saying Pooh Shiesty was behind it, claiming karma had caught up to Jizzle for running his mouth.